Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Italian Football Podcast, the official podcast of Football Italia. I'm Carlo Garganese, joined as always by Nima and Carlo. On today's show, we will review to the weekend Serie A action. Inter and Napoli played out an epic match at San Siro. More injury time chaos for Milan. Roma win, Como draw, Atalanta continue their great form. There's a few transfer stories bubbling in the January Mercato. And we will also preview the midweek round of Serie A. And we'll have our usual Baggio, Premface and Serie ASS of the week. If you want to support the Italian Football Podcast and receive all of our content that we do throughout the week, including our free Monday review show, our weekly Q&A episode where we answer all the questions from our patrons, plus our Thursday midweek review show, plus interviews, post-match reaction, and much, much more, then go to patreon.com/TIFP and become a subscriber for just $3.99 a month. You can watch our free episodes and shorter clips on YouTube, and you can become a patron on YouTube memberships. Just go to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/@ItaFootPod. You can also sign up to be a paid subscriber on Spotify. So whichever platform you consume us on, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube, any, just would really appreciate if you give us a follow, subscribe to us, like us, give us a 5-star rating, whichever is relevant for that platform. That really helps us to grow. And if you've not done so already, do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok as well. If you want to see Nima go after Gen Z in one of our videos that went viral last week. Let's get into today's show.
All your fault. All your fault.
Good. Right, let's get into today's show. Okay, so the big Scudetto match at San Siro. First of all, what a game. Fantastic game for the neutral. We'll get to some of there was a few refereeing incidents, which we'll get to after when we talk about Napoli. But first of all, I just want to say that it was a fantastic match, gripping match, thrilling match. And I actually think the referee helped that by letting the game flow. Now, yes, there are a couple for each side that we can talk about after, which we will do. But I think that I just want to make a point that I wish more referees, yes, of course, the big decisions will always be important. But just in general, I think that more referees need to let the game flow like this in Serie A matches because it makes the spectacle so much better. There's nothing worse. Stop, start. Free kicks in your own half where the defenders dive, which is becoming a growing problem in Serie A, and I want stopped, where defenders just throw themselves to the ground in their own third, and they always get the free kick in the middle of the field where, you get a duel between two players and the referee blows. Let it glow. And if it ends up being a foul, you can go back to it afterwards, So that, I think played into it. That's the first point I want to make.
I tweeted 3 minutes or 5 minutes into the game that Doveri, why I think Doveri is the best referee in the Serie A, and I've thought so for many years. He makes mistakes, everyone does. But his read and interpretation of the game, his understanding of football, and his understanding of the game is second to none. I think he's by far the best Italian referee. He has been for many years because of what you just pointed to. And I think he was excellent last night. I think there's, you can't be annoyed with the referee for applying the laws of the game as they are. If you're annoyed with that, you should be annoyed with the ones who make the laws, not the guy applying the laws. His games never deteriorate. His games always are on the balance. The players always, you can see that he always is in command of what's happening. The players respect him, and he has an authority and an ability to control games, and it's because of the fact that he does understand what football is, and that's why his games. I thought again. I think he's the best referee in the Serie A, and I really, really hope that his style of refereeing becomes the prevailing orthodoxy. I really like it. I really like it.
If we're talking
makes
about
the Serie A better. No, I'm talking about everything.
Serie A more attractive, and that is one way. Well, actually, let's just talk. Let's get the penalty. Let's get the penalty and the Thuram incident out of the way, and then we can talk about the game.
The Thuram incident is not an incident. They're both pulling each other. It's not a red card. It's not a foul. Full stop. They're both pulling each other. There's nothing to talk about. He got it spot on.
No, I mean, I mean the high kick on Thuram by Rachmani. It was a bad tackle. It reminded me. It wasn't as bad. I think where he's got away with it, and why I think it's more of an orange card for me than a red card. And the reason why is because the contact. It wasn't like the 2010 World Cup. Was it? Who was it? Was it Busquets? No, who was it that did it?
You mean
no,
De Jong
on? Who was it on?
Yeah,
was it Busquets?
I can't remember. Yeah, now De
Jong. That was full force. Whereas this one was. It was a follow through, which can happen. Thuram is bigger than Juan Jesus, so that obviously plays into it. And it wasn't a direct contact, so I think that's why he's got away with it. I think if it had been a full force, then I would have been here saying that should have been a red card because it was a bit reckless. That's what I'll say on that.
It's a yellow card for sure. But I mean, you are responsible for your feet. You can say that's a mistake, but I think that I don't think it's a red card. Look, again, I think Doveri got every decision right.
Yeah. As for the penalty, as for the Inter penalty, I agree with you. I think by the laws, these get given. But if you want to tell me what the law should be, I think treading on someone's toe in that manner with that minimal force should never be a penalty. But you know my opinions on penalty. You know, with the slow-mo, it always looks worse. The only thing I would say is this. Given a penalty for that was incongruent with the rest of the game, where the ref was letting some much tougher challenges than that go. Rightfully so, by the way, which I've just praised him for. I like that. So the fact that you can there was one with McTominay, there was one for Inter as well in the middle of the field where they really got, it was a big duel and they let go. I think that, is it that should that be a penalty? Never in a million years should that be a penalty. The rules are generally you touch someone like that, you get a penalty. But should it be a penalty? Never in a million years should that be a penalty.
Well, that's again like I think I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it like this. I don't like those kinds of soft penalties. I thought the penalty that Napoli got at the Maradona against Inter, where Mkhitaryan was adjudged a foul, was a disgrace. That was very soft. The contact here was much more clear. There's no discussion about that. But I don't like these penalties because here, for me, it's a matter of where is the ball. The ball was gone. It wasn't anywhere. It was still not. The ball had the situation was as such that the ball had left that area. So they were pretty much. He was late. Rachmani was late. There's no doubt about that. And he didn't stomp on his toe. He stomped on his foot. So it is a late and clumsy challenge. And that can happen. But there was for me, it's also the intent. Did he intend, was it a destructive intention? No, he was trying to play the ball. He was late. Now, in the middle of the pitch, that's a foul. I get that. And if that's a foul on the middle of the pitch, it should also be a foul in the penalty area. Personally, I don't like these kinds of penalties. I didn't like it back then. I don't like it now. This was more of a contact. But the fact of the matter is, this is, by the way that the law is written, the way that they're told to apply the law, this is a penalty. There's no discussion.
I actually think that I agree with you generally, but I actually, the one thing I disagree with is I think that actually in the center of the field, when you've got a referee like Doveri and that in this game, that would not be given in the middle of the field. That would be like, well, let's just play on because it's a bit of contact.
Play the advantage.
There's no contact.
Play the advantage. Yeah, but there is contact. There is clear contact. You can't say there's no contact.
No. I didn't say there's no contact. I'm saying that where there's that type of contact, they just let it go.
Well, it depends. It depends on who has the advantage. I mean, he would have played the advantage. That's the kind of referee he is. And then afterward, if he felt it was a booking, he would have given the yellow card. That's how you're supposed to do it. But for me, I think he got it all. I think he got it spot on. I think he got every decision spot on. The problem I have is with the way that the law is interpreted. But I also recognize that if you don't give these kinds of penalties, then you're incentivizing fouls to be done in the penalty area and them to go unpunished. It's a really difficult situation. I don't know how you kind of balance it, but it's I
think you have to look at the severity of challenges. It's supposed to be a contact sport, and these kind of things. These kind of things. I mean, for me, treading on someone's toe, foot in that manner with that minimal force, which always looks worse in the slow-mo. You see it in the normal speed, and it looks very little. You see it in the slow-mo, it looks much, much worse in the slow-mo because it gets, So I just think that I hate penalties given for this. I hate it. Games shouldn't be decided, especially a close game like this shouldn't be decided. And I do believe it was incongruent with the rest of the game when he was letting so much go, a lot more force that I just think you just can't give a penalty for something like this. But
no, I think he kept a high and consistent level. I think this kind of thing in the penalty area is, again, he doesn't really have a choice. And if he didn't,
but it wasn't him that gave the decision, was it? Really, it was the VAR.
Well, the VAR, the VAR asked him to look at it, and
yeah, but once they look at it, they give it. Do you know what I mean? That happens.
But the thing with Doveri, but Doveri is what he understands is that he also, like, this is again, he has a born senso in the sense that he understands the game, he understands how it works, and he applies that logic to the game, and I think that's what makes him the best referee. He always does it. He always gets these major decisions on the right side of the law, and if one side feels aggrieved, so be it. They can talk about last season. Well, then Inter can talk about last season, and Juve can talk about last season, and Milan can talk about last season. Milan can talk about this week. I mean, we're never going to end like this.
I'm not. I know a lot of people. I'm not that big on the inconsistency. The inconsistencies. I know someone was saying Di Paolo, the VAR, didn't give a penalty for Ostergaard the same week, 3 days before, for treading. Now, I'm not so big. I mean, that one was a slightly different incident because he got the ball first, but I still understand it. Like we need to, if you tread on someone's foot, is it a penalty? For me, it should never be a penalty in a million years. But then you've got to be consistent. I see Roma had a couple exactly like this one that weren't given this season, exactly the same. And, so it's.
Well, the problem that goes down again to a certain man called Rocky. He goes out and throws in similar situations last season. When Napoli against Lecce, I think it was, or Juan Jesus wasn't given. He kind of went out and said, "Step on foot." There's not blah blah blah. Like, he creates chaos. They need someone in charge to come out and basically before the season use examples and say, "This is a penalty because of this. This isn't because of that." Communicate that clearly, and then move on. That's again, Rocky must go. This is again on him. His communication is as clear as mud, and this is why we have this. But if you look at this game in and of itself, I think Doveri was outstanding. Again, I think he's the best referee. I've thought this for many years, and I think all big matches he should be in charge of them because he allows the spectacle.
Let's move on from the referee now. So let's start off talking about it from Inter's point of view. What did you think of Inter's performance? I personally thought that, with the exception, I thought in the first half they were pretty decent between Inter scoring and Napoli's equaliser. I thought Inter were very, very good. But apart from that, I'll be honest, I was a bit disappointed with Inter in this game. But certainly in the second half, I thought they were disappointed. I understand. I actually predicted a draw before this game. Once I saw that Milan had not won, I thought Inter are going to be a little bit more conservative because they know that a draw is a good result for them. That's all that they need, and I think that maybe that played into their approach. They're a little bit more of a cautious approach. Maybe the bad results in the other big games played into them not going so front foot and allowing Napoli to maybe dictate it a bit more. But I was just a little bit. I wasn't that impressed by Inter. I don't think that they created that much. If you look at their non-penalty XG. And not that Napoli created loads themselves, but I think they created the better big chances in open play. I was a little bit disappointed with Inter. Maybe I've got high expectations for them now.
No, I think it's this is again this notion of the big match curse. Now it's 13 matches where Inter have not beaten Milan, Juve, Napoli across every competition. The last 13 matches, and this is the first time this season that Kivu did not lose a big match. With all due respect to Atalanta, Roma, they didn't lose it, and I think that was the thing. They wanted to show that they could come out in a big match and not lose, try to win it, but at the very least get a draw. And I think that's what they got. So I understand and I commend him, Kivu, for this approach. This shows maturity. For me, what I want when I see a young coach in a situation like given a job like Kivu, I want to see growth from week to week. I want to see maturity from week to week. That I see here. So I think Kivu's approach to this game was an improvement. He's not there yet, but then again, we can't expect him to be there yet. If you wanted a manager that was a finished product, you don't appoint Christian Kivu. But if you have appointed him, then you have to give him time to fail on the job. You have to give him time to see if he learns from his mistakes. And he has. So we have to give him credit for that. This was maybe it was an overly careful approach by Kivu, but that's normal. He's learning on the job. So I'm actually kind of happy to see that he understands what the mistakes have been and that he wants to improve, and he is improving. A draw is better than a loss. I think I wasn't disappointed by Inter. I was more kind of, I felt like this was the Inter were not going for the win or going for the kill. It was more of a let's go out there and control the game kind of situation and control the result rather. And that is something that Inter have not really done under Kivu this season. And that is growth. That's impressive. And I'm glad that they were able to salvage a point from this, that they were able to get a point. Let's remember that they took the lead both times. Let's remember that they did have chances towards the end. They hit the woodwork to win the game, which means that they're on the right track. And so I'm not disappointed by Inter. I'm kind of more like, okay, this was a step in the right direction. However, the counterpoint to that is this was against a Napoli that was decimated. And you're at home and you still weren't able to impose yourself on a Napoli B team, let's be honest, which is a concern, again, about the big match problem, that Inter still struggle in big games. That still remains. But the result, this is an improvement. So it's not that clear.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I think that also let's take into account that Inter are in a great position. They're 3 points ahead of Milan. They're 4 points ahead of Napoli. They've got rid of another of their tough games out of the way. They've got better fixture lists than their rivals for the rest of the season. They're in an excellent position. They're also in a better position than those two teams when it comes to, you just said, Napoli are decimated by injuries. Inter, apart from Dumfries, are in pretty good shape. I think they'll be happy. They'll be happy with that. I just think, I expected them. I expected more from them in terms of we're the big team. You know what? We're the masters. We're the home team. I expected a bit more from them, and I thought that there was a few negatives that have come out in this game individually. I thought Lautaro was
defensively.
Shocking. Yeah, well,
defensively, I'm sorry. I want to talk about the defense. This is a problem now. That defense is not working. Manuel Akanji in this game, Rasmus Højlund dominated him for 90 minutes. Acerbi should have started. I understand that he's not fit, but we know that Acerbi against number 9 Prime Punta, he puts them in his back pocket. He doesn't give him an inch. Akanji didn't have a prayer against Højlund. Højlund just pushed him aside, fooled him where he missed that open chance that was just wide, completely fooled him. This is a problem.
If I just come in on that, I thought that Akanji and Bisek, but especially Akanji,
Absolutely.
but Akanji and Bisek struggled. I thought the words, I have to commend Vanja Milinkovic-Savic because some of this is a crazy thing to say, but this is where we are in 2026. Some of his goal kicks were bloody brilliant. The way that people don't realize this, but the way that he put, I guess it's almost like a golf shot. Not that I like golf.
Yeah.
It's seen as my arguments with the golf wanker from Sky. People will realize. But the way that he kind of sliced under the ball was like a golf shot, and it. So when it bounced, it kind of came back rather than went forward. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's so good with his feet. So I want to commend Milinkovic-Savic for that as well. But I'm sorry, at this level of football, to not be able to defend goal kicks. Straight goal kicks, and to have one where Højlund went clean through on goal from a goal kick. I mean, don't get me wrong, amazing assist.
That's the situation I meant, but
yeah,
no, look,
that was worrying, and that was Bisek and Akanji number one because he's
same thing for the goal. Same thing
Yeah.
for the first goal. Akanji late. Bisek is doing stupidity, like looking, hiding, closing his eyes. No, and the same thing again for the second McTominay goal. No, Inter have a problem. Inter have a defensive and goalkeeping problem.
Yeah, that right channel between the two of them were getting exposed.
It's not going to work. I think we have the answer now, that against the top sides in Europe and against the top sides in the Serie A, Inter need to sign Acerbi. They need another Acerbi. They need another big guy who understands how to man mark and read the game as well as Acerbi does. And Acerbi is probably going to leave the club because his body's deteriorating. He's not getting any younger. So they need to sort that. And also the goalkeeper. Inter needed. I wish Inter would have signed Vanja Milinkovic-Savic. You know that I've been a big fan of his for many years. I saw someone tweet, I can't remember who it was, made me laugh, that Lautaro made more saves than Jan Sommer did in this game. And it's true, because that Zielinski shot he blocked, Sommer was nowhere near, and it's a problem. And you saw Bastoni. I don't know if people noticed it in the second half. Bastoni got pissed off with Sommer for not coming out and not being in command of the area, and was yelling at him, which is now this is now becoming a problem. Or it has been a problem for a long time, but it's becoming more and more evident. Inter have to sign a first-choice goalkeeper. If not, they need to start. Okay, I know Pep Martinez was injured, but they need to either give him the shot to see if he can take over from Sommer, or if not, sign a first-choice goalkeeper. And for me, that first-choice goalkeeper should have been Milinkovic-Savic. Who you go after now?
Also, one other thing. This is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but Bisek's football boots annoy me so much. They're white, but the heel they're black, but the heel is white, and it looks like he's wearing like slippers, like, because it merges in with his socks, and it looks like he wears slippers. It just irritates me.
I'm sorry, but his overall, people talk about Dumfries playing football with Timberlands on. Well, I don't know what we could say, that he's borrowed.
That's part of it. That's part of it. He looks like he's sort of like running with slippers, like flip flops.
Yeah. If Denzel Dumfries and Romelu Lukaku play football with their Timberlands on, well, they've given their Timberlands to Jan Bisek because he can't control the football, and it's frustrating. Now, Inter need to sort that out. Like this summer, they need to sort that out. In
terms of positives, though, Federico Dimarco is enjoying an amazing season. He scored the opener here. Now, Dimarco has 9 goal contributions in 18 games for Inter, and he's 1 goal shy of his best ever season for goals, and we're in January. So he's going to break that. Only 2 players have more assists in Serie A. Only Nico Paz has more man of the matches in Serie A. He has the most crosses in Serie A. He's second for key passes. Kivu's taken him, have to praise Kivu. He's taken him to a new level this season, Dimarco. Also because with Inzaghi used to take him off all the time, like in the hour mark. And we used to kind of say, well, he just doesn't have the body to play longer than 60 minutes. He doesn't have the fitness, the conditioning. And I think Dimarco actually got pissed off at that idea and thought he almost had a bit of a barb at him, didn't he, at one point, I remember. So he's been fantastic. So I think he was the one big positive. It was a great finish as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, as I've said, and you call it Nima bingo, but his left foot is a cheat code. There's no discussion about that. His left foot is world class. It's been that his entire career. But what I do like that Kivu's done with him, aside from the fitness and conditioning, which he's done really well with Dimarco. Inzaghi was never able to get that out of Dimarco. Dimarco can get as pissed off as he wants because Inzaghi took him off because he was finished. He was holding his sides and couldn't breathe when he came off. But the conditioning that Kivu has done with him allows him to last for the full 90 minutes, and that's a big credit to Kivu. Other than that, Kivu kind of uses him exactly the same way that Inzaghi did, with the difference that with Zielinski, Bastoni, and Dimarco, they kind of create these numerical advantages that Inzaghi did, but with the difference that they start more centrally, and so it allows more space up down the left for Dimarco to attack, whilst under Inzaghi, he was far more pushed to the left, Now he's able to cut in more. They've created space for him to cut in from the left. That's what Kivu's done, and that's why he's scoring so many goals and assists.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Napoli. I thought, considering how decimated they were of their key players, lack of options on the bench as well, which we have to consider. Also, the Antonio Conte 1 game a week curse, or 2 game a week, or 3 games a week. It was actually for Napoli, coming off that really awful performance in midweek against the 2-2 draw against, who did they draw 2-2 to in midweek? Nima, Napoli?
Hellas.
Against Hellas Verona. I thought that Napoli played a really, really good game when you put it into context. I thought they were the better team overall. Maybe it was close. Maybe a draw was a fair result, but I thought they were the better team. They had the better clear chances, let's say, if you remove the penalty. I thought they were better on the ball, and I thought they showed really great character. Despite going behind twice, I thought that they were excellent. I really thought they were excellent. So I have to praise Napoli for that. They're hanging in still in the title race, because if they lost this game, 7 points with their injury situation, with Conte getting sent off as well, everything could have really melted down. We could have probably said, "Oh, I think they're out." I think they would have been out of the Scudetto race if they lost this game.
I think so too. I think that's why. I think that's why when the penalty was given, Conte lost his shit, because he felt that that's it. And that he you can say many things about Conte, but Conte wears his heart on his sleeve. He shows you exactly how he's feeling when he's wired up like that, when he's excited, and that's why he got angry. He felt that, okay, they're going to score, we're going to lose. That's the end of this. That's it. And that's why he lost his shit more than anything else. And so, yeah, we have to praise Napoli, because I thought they were really good. This result will be a huge confidence boost for them. Going to the San Siro, going behind twice, coming back, and being able to actually go toe to toe with Inter, in a way that twice this season they've done that. And well, actually, they did it last season at the Maradona as well. They dominated that game. Inter just had that one shot, the Dimarco free kick. And this is now 3rd game in a row in the Serie A where Napoli have actually clearly, maybe not as much as the other games, but still been the better team against Inter. And that'll definitely give them a confidence boost going forward. But I just I don't want to hear anyone talk shit about Scott McTominay ever again, because to give away a ball for the opening goal, which he did, he's to blame for that. But to bounce back with that kind of a man of the match performance, decisive performance, 2 important goals, lead by example, he really is, tip of the hat to him, tip of the hat to Conte. Outstanding. So what a player he is. What a player he is. And I don't want to hear this ridiculous notion, oh, he was shit at United. Yeah, well, who's been good at United? I'm sorry. But understanding what a player is and putting him in a system where he can express his best qualities and getting it to work, that's what a manager in a club is supposed to do when it's run properly. Man United are not run properly. Napoli are. And you have to give credit to that. You have to give credit to him. You have to give credit to everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, McTominay already ranks among Napoli's greatest players. Even he's only been playing for Napoli for 18 months. If you're the main man in winning a Scudetto, you're instantly a Napoli god, of course. But what he's done in these 18 months, he's already among the Napoli greats. Of course, there's a top level where, there's Maradona. No one will ever get close to him, of course. And then there's below Maradona, there's probably a Ciro Ferrara, there's a Careca, who are on that level. But after that, McTominay is already challenging the kind of, let's say, the kind of like the second tier legends like an Insigne, a Mertens, a Osimhen. He's already on that level after 18 months. 18 months for me, because what he's done and what he continues to do in big games, decisive goals, decisive performances. He's just magnificent, absolutely magnificent. He's kept Napoli in just about in the title race. That's all on McTominay.
He's a decisive player. He's decisive at the San Siro. He keeps scoring there. He keeps putting in fantastic performances. You got to give credit. This is a player who is at the peak of his career. He's the peak of his powers, and he continues to shine. And I hope he stays at Napoli for the rest of his career, because I think he's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, I thought Højlund played really good. It's one of Højlund's best games in the kind of, lone striker, having to play for the team, also having to be back to goal, receiving long balls, like we said before, a lot of goal kicks. He gave Akanji lots of problems, as you said. I thought Højlund, that was really positive going forward for Napoli as well, because, we've said, anybody that watched them at Man United, that side of his game was very weak at United. And now I think we can start to say we are starting to see a bit of a development there. I also want to praise Lobotka. What a dream of a player this guy is. He's just a dream. He is. He's the closest thing that we've had to Xavi, that mold of play. He's the closest thing we've had to Xavi since Xavi retired. I know that he's absolutely loved in Barcelona. I know Fabregas has spoken about him, saying he's the most Barcelona player that there is, that doesn't play for Barcelona. He's that kind of Xavi, the Marco Verratti kind of player. He's my kind of
short game. His short game is wonderful, and his short passing, his the way that he views football. He's a fantastic player. But
the way that he gets out of trouble, the way how he gets out of tight spaces, the way that he does little body movements and drops of the shoulder and
low center of gravity. Yeah, very low center of gravity. No, but I just want to say, I just want to just on Højlund. This is like they have their Lukaku replacement. What Napoli need to do now is to, in the summer, get rid of Lukaku, get rid of Luka, and find a backup striker to Højlund. Højlund is their number 9. That it's as simple as that. He is. They found their replacement, and they should build around him. Don't mess about. Like Lukaku isn't getting any younger. He's done what he can do. Send him off to MLS or Saudi or whatever in the summer. Get rid of that big wage. Try to offload Lorenzo Luca if you feel that situation can't be saved, and bring in a backup striker that can give you what you need. Because Højlund has to be the starter. It's as simple as that. I think he's so good, so good. It's been absolutely excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Negatives I would say is that I think that Napoli maybe will feel they could and maybe should have won this. They had big chances at 1-1, which is, I think that will be their regrets. Højlund had that one-on-one where he clipped the post, and Di Lorenzo had a header where he got wrong. I think that was they were on top there, and that was their chance probably at 1-1. And also, I think just looking at the week as a whole, Napoli, and this is really probably also what's costing them, obviously along with the injuries. This is also and kind of that Conte 2 game a week thing, is the defensive guarantees. They've lost those defensive guarantees because as well as they played in this game, they've still conceded 2 goals. And okay, the penalty incident we've discussed, that can happen, but the first goal is still a bad goal to concede from a defensive point. It's a naive goal to concede, falling into the Inter trap. But just generally, last season, Napoli's Scudetto victory was built on the defence, conceding very little. I mean, their attack really was pretty poor last season, let's be honest. It's one of the lowest, if not the lowest, Scudetto winner in terms of scoring goals maybe ever. It's one of the worst anyway, if not the worst, of recent years. So it was built on the defence being... And this season, they're letting in so many naive goals, like that first goal. Just so many goals. I mean, they conceded 2 to Hellas Verona. Really bad goals, they conceded in that game where, Di Lorenzo just switched off for the first, and there was Buongiorno being, given away that another clumsy penalty, whether it was harsh or soft or not. It was clumsy. They're giving away too many penalties this season. And even Rachmani played bad in this game. And I think he's the only one that can maybe be trusted from the defence, this Napoli defence, or the Napoli centre-backs. He's the only one you can trust, and even he played badly. So, yeah, I mean, when Juan Jesus is now considered more trustworthy than Buongiorno, that says two things.
You have an issue.
That says two things. That says, one, well, that's an issue for Napoli being able to not to be tight defensively. But two, it's a concern for Buongiorno, and it's a concern for the Italy national team as well. That is Buongiorno that bad right now that Juan Jesus is ahead of him? So that's a bit concerning also, I think.
It's very concerning. That's very, very concerning. Yeah, look, it's. I feel generally that the level of defending, and I don't really see that many good central defenders in that can defend in Italian football right now.
Worldwide, but yeah, Italian football certainly. Mm.
Yeah,
no, I agree. I agree. And I was speaking about this with my friends last night when we were talking about Buongiorno, and it's like all of Italy's centre backs are struggling right now, or the top ones anyway, are struggling. And it's like, what the hell do we do going into those playoffs? So I know I'm obsessed with always bringing it back to the playoffs, but it's like I don't know who we play. Like, with centre back is supposed to be our strong area, and all our centre backs are struggling. And one of our best ones is benched for Juan Jesus now. It's like, what do we do? But anyway, Fiorentina Milan, another incredible end to the game. Really thrilling, just like the Inter game. 90th minute equaliser by Nkunku. And then Brescianini and Moise Kean miss sitters in the last minute or second to last minute of injury time to win it for Fiorentina. It ends 1-1. But it was another really, really exciting game. Certainly the end to the game. But if we speak of it from Milan perspective, first of all, I mean, they must be kicking themselves because they had a chance to gain points on Inter and also take advantage of Napoli dropping points, and they've blown that chance. But I think the performance and the drop points this is on Allegri. This is on Allegri. The heavy rotation. Why? I don't understand why he rotated so many players all at once. And Rafael Leao, Modric, Rabiot, Fofana, Bartizaghi, the whole midfield was rested and rotated. Too many changes. And I'm sorry, but, Fiorentina, they might be having a terrible season, but it's still Fiorentina away. It's a Fiorentina that have picked up form recently and have been on a good little run of form. And it's Milan, who they're not in Europe this season. Like, they haven't, yes, okay, 3 games in a week, of course. But it's not Milan that have accumulated the number of minutes in their legs that Napoli and Inter have. And you can understand them rotating. Yes, okay, Modric, I can understand. He's 40 years old. Modric can't play 3 games or even 2 games in 7 days. So that one I understand. The others I don't. Rabiot especially. Rabiot is like a horse. He never stops running. Too many rotations. I don't know the thinking behind that, whether it was physical, whether it was taking Fiorentina too lightly. So for me, it's on. For me, this is number one on the team selection choices.
12th of January, and we have Carlo shitting finally on Allegri. It's he's been holding on to that one.
It's been long awaited, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I think that the reason he did those changes is because he felt that their conditioning wasn't, like, they weren't in peak condition. I think that's why he did it. And I think that I agree with you that they don't have as many minutes as the other teams, but still, you can't put players out there that aren't in mint condition, and when you don't need to. And I think he had to do it. I don't think he had much of a choice. I think he looks more down the line, and I think his comments midweek as well after the Genoa game, where he said that, look, Napoli and Inter are qualitatively better than us. Like, we're not there yet. Is kind of an admission that, we're doing really good. We're kind of doing above expectation, and we need to remember that if we are to win this Scudetto, that would be a huge overachievement. And I don't think anyone can argue with that, to be honest. So they're still in second spot. They're not that far off Inter. But the fact of the matter is that they were one shocking penalty miss away, and one Brescianini hitting the crossbar away from 0 points in 2 games. Okay, they managed to get 2, but that was more down to luck more than their own good ability. And that is something that
and Pavlovic digging a trench.
That is just, I mean, how is that allowed?
How did he not get banned? How is it not banned? How is he playing in this game? It's on video.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
The only thing missing is he might as well just had a shovel. Like he was literally digging.
I've seen some of the memes. It's insane. Like they're trying to explain it away as well. Like it's on video. It's like Trump trying to say that guy was doing self-defense on the shooting. Like it's on video. It's an execution on video. He's put his gun. The car's past him. He's shot twice through the window. It's on video.
3 times. Yeah. It's in 4K, bro. Like, are you gonna trust me or your lying eyes? I know. No, it's hilarious, but
it was quite funny though. It was quite funny though, the way that he did it so blatantly. But even the way that the Genoa players just stood there and watched him and didn't do nothing about it. They just watched him literally kick up the penalty spot, and then he puts it over because of it. I mean, oh god, but
absolutely mental, Like,
but yeah, Milan are listen. The positive way of looking at this is Milan are still unbeaten since the first half of the season. So yes, you can say it was a bit of luck because Fiorentina missed. I mean, Brescianini won. That's a bad one. The Keane one, the angle was a bit tight. Magnon got his angle spot on, and it wasn't as easy as it looked. But yeah, they got a bit of luck there. But also, they do still have character. They are still scoring late goals. They are hard to beat. But this has been an issue with Allegri. It was at Juventus. Drawing too many games. And I think that comes down to, again, the attack. And this has been a weakness of Allegri, definitely. Pulisic, are Milan a little bit too reliant on Pulisic that when he doesn't have a good game or doesn't put his chances away, it's kind of they're looking around and who's going to be who's going to score the goals. I mean, Pulisic had two bad misses. I mean, the first one, I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't shoot. I saw one tweet go viral. Sorry to stick on the shooting theme, but the only American that hesitates when shooting, is sorry, I'm sorry, but I had to say it. But yeah, what was he waiting for? Like he should have shot first, then he dribbled past the keeper, and then he took another step. He should have shot. He had 2 opportunities to shoot, and then he waited too long. And then the second one was even worse. Really, the XG on that was ridiculously high. He should have put away. So
he also
he could have had a hat trick in the first half hour. Pulisic.
Yeah, he also had missed chances against Genoa, and I think it's one of those things where, given how decisive he's been and how much we praised him, we also have to be honest that when he misses these kinds of chances where he should be doing better. If you're going to be that player, if you're going to be one of the leaders at Milan, you have to come good in those situations. And I think one aspect that I think is overlooked is that Leao is kind of becoming that player. He's scoring very decisive goals, very important goals.
I think the difference with Leao is I guess the point I'm making is that Pulisic, I'm not going to criticize him because his numbers speak for himself. He's got 10 goals this season in all competitions. And he gets in the positions to miss these chances also because of the player that he is. That he's got a good brain of getting into the right positions. He's generally an excellent finisher. I'm not going to and the best players miss chances. I mean, if you look at Cristiano Ronaldo during his career, Cristiano Ronaldo used to top the charts every season for most chances missed. But that's because he would have about 10 shots a game. And 7 of them might miss them and go way over or way wide. But because he kept getting in the positions and kept having so many efforts, he would score goals. So I don't look into it that much unless you're not scoring. If you're not scoring and you're missing the chances, that's a problem. But if you're scoring 10 goals but you're also missing 5, I'm not going to be that critical. But the point I'm making is that you need others to step in. And yes, Leao does step in and has done. I think he's got 8 goals himself, so that's not bad in all competitions. But I think Leao is more inconsistent than Pulisic. Leao, has a game, and then he has a game where he's not there at all. Whereas Pulisic, every game he's there. And okay, some of those games he might miss, but he's always there. Milan, I think, just need more goal scorers. And apart from Pulisic and Leao, no one else has got more than 3 goals. I know Nkunku's come in. We'll see if he stays. He scored in this game, but we need more goals from the rest of the Milan players. That's the point.
I agree 100%. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. But I mean, we have to understand that Milan rebooted in the summer, and it's going to take some time to get to where they want. I think they've had a really positive start first half of the season. They've surprised a lot of people, punching above their weight, and I think that's a good thing. But it takes time to build. We can't just expect them to immediately just hit one button and be
I think Fulkrug. I thought Fulkrug. I don't know what you.
I was about to get to that. Yeah. I was about to get that. This is what he's being brought in to do against Fiorentina. There you saw it. That's what he's been brought in to do.
Yeah,
the first half. Yeah, that's why they signed him, and he will contribute that way.
Yeah, but the Pulisic chances, I thought the back heel one was outstanding. That was fantastic. Yeah. But at the same time, we need him to contribute some goals as well. So he needs to start scoring. Because again, if he's just creating the chances for Pulisic, fine. But if Pulisic has a game like this where he doesn't score, then who else is going to score? So, I think that we need goals from him as well. But yeah, we saw we saw why he was signed. The big issue for Milan, the difference, but Milan are 3 points behind Inter right now. There's a reason why they're 3 points behind Inter, and that is Milan's record against the relegation teams this season is horrendous. Cremonese lost, Pisa drew, Sassuolo drew. That's the 3 promoted teams. Parma drew, Genoa drew, Fiorentina in the relegation zone drew. Inter's record versus the bottom half this season: played 10, won 10. That's the difference between winning the Scudetto and losing the Scudetto out of Inter and Milan. Yes, we've spoken about Inter's big game record, but it's beating these teams that win you the Scudetto.
Because usually that's correct, because there's more of the smaller teams than there are of the top teams. That's 110% true. But it's so that is a concern, and I think that goes down to, again, the lack of a quality striker, someone who drags you over the line against the small teams. Inter have that. Napoli have that with Højlund and McTominay as well. Inter have that with Thuram, with Boni, with Lautaro, and so on. And from their midfield players in Zielinski and Haka. Milan don't really have that. And I think we saw that against Genoa as well, when Fofana slipped and missed an absolute.
Just before, I forgot to say in the Inter segment, sorry to go back to Inter, but very quickly, Lautaro was horrific against Napoli. I didn't say it before, and I felt like it needs.
He was poor. He was poor.
That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from Lautaro in an Inter.
Yeah, he was not. He didn't have a good game at all.
He just didn't seem on it mentally. Like, he didn't seem up to the fight either. He was bullied really easily.
I would have liked to have seen both Boni and Esposito come on sooner. I would have liked to see them come on sooner. I think Boni he's no longer a rotation player for me. He is a serious contender to start every game. He is just unbelievable. The way he wins the ball high up, his pressing, his read of the game, his ability to hold up defenders, put others into play, his finishing, his crossing. This is a gem. This is an absolute diamond that Inter have on their hands. He's too good to be a rotation player. Inter have to sort something out. He needs to play more.
Okay, just on Fiorentina, they'll kick themselves because they were so close to a massive win, and Nkunku equalised, but then those 2 sitters after, and that's twice in a week, actually, isn't it? That they've had 90th minute equalisers. Lazio got one. Right at the end as well. But I think overall, I think that Fiorentina should be happy, with their performance in the second half, certainly. And, I thought Kumutso, he scored. That's good that he's started to pick things up. Dodo impressed. I thought Dodo was really good in this game. And, Dodo was for sale until Fabio Paratici came in, and Fabio Paratici taken him off the market. So I want to praise Paratici there. There we go. Allegri and Paratici in one episode. Yeah, I want to praise Paratici because that would have been a really dumb move if they'd have sold Dodo. That would have been really dumb. They would have been dead as the dodo if they sold Dodo. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it was. They're overall the form is it's picked up now. Last 5 games, 2 wins, 2 draws. Probably should have been 4 wins. There's now some light at the end of the tunnel for Fiorentina.
They need to keep this up. They need to keep this up. They need to keep up this form for the next 5 to 8 games, because if they do, they'll be well above the relegation zone. And I do
think though that Brescianini's a really good buy. No, he missed that chance, but he's exactly what they need. Exactly what that midfield, that horrible sort of like midfield that's kind of missing physicality and missing, legs. He's exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I think that's a good buy. Right. Roma though. Roma are back to another win, and they won in midweek as well. They beat Sassuolo 2-0, 2 late goals in the last 15 minutes. Soulé was the star here. He got an assist for the first, scored the second. Strong second half from Roma. Poor first half, very strong second half. And Roma are, well, numerically, they're obviously there's games in hand for the top teams that they'll play in midweek, but numerically they're 4th now. This is ahead of Juventus playing against Cremonese on so they're into 4th place, but they're actually only 4 points off the top of the table. Although, like I said, there's games in hand which they all should win because they've got quite easy fixtures in midweek. Napoli, Parma, Inter, Lecce, Milan away to Como. That's not easy, but yeah, it's So Roma are still there.
They are still there, and I think they will continue to be there. That last 4th spot is going to be such an interesting fight, because I know we're going to talk about them, but Atalanta are going to be there as well. They keep winning, and they will continue to win. I know they're 8 points off, but they will continue to win, and they will be there as well. Como as well, can't discount them. And Juve and Roma. So yeah, it's that is going to be a fascinating hornet's nest.
Yeah, I think that Raspadori going to Roma, which looks like it's going to happen. And
good.
Zirkze's not going to happen now because of the manager change at Man United, and which is a big shame for Roma, because I think he's probably needed even more than Raspadori. But Raspadori under Gasperini, I think that will definitely improve their attack. So the one thing that is working really well for Roma, by the way, is the counter press. That's one thing that Gasperini has already installed. So counter press, for those who don't know, is when you lose the ball, your team loses the ball, how quick you instead of sitting back like Allegri style and just sitting back and waiting for the team to come at you, you immediately push forward to try and win the ball back, and that's an important aspect of Gasperini's play, and he's installed that really quickly. And Roma were just gobbling up Sassuolo with the counter press, also with the press just in general. That's working really, really well. So now they just need more quality players and more quality in attack, really. So I can see, basically what I'm making is the Gasperini print is there in terms of the counter press, and that's very, very important. So that's
it really is. It really is. And if they can, I feel bad for Zirkzee more than I feel bad for Roma, because if he had gone, he would have been exploded under Gasperini. I still think that it could happen. Maybe not this January, but I don't see who was going to come in and suddenly move Zirkzee in instead of Sesko. I just don't understand. I just don't see that happening. But I think Sesko is a bigger name and a bigger, has a bigger role to play at United than Zirkzee does, unfortunately, for Zirkzee. But I really wish that he would leave United, and I hope he goes to Roma because I want a good Serie A. Because I actually look at Roma that as a team that if they can get Raspadori and keep him, they're probably going to let Dybala go together with Soulé. If they can have a solid window next summer and get Zirkzee in, I actually look at Roma as potentially dark horse to challenge for the Scudetto next season. I really think so.
That would be great.
I really do.
There's a little bit. I've got a bit of an update on Raspadori. I'll come on to that when we talk about the Mercato. It's quite an interesting one, so stick with it. Right. Just an interesting stat. I know you love a stat, Nima. Roma have gone 26 games without a draw. That's absolutely insane. So a win or loss for the last 26 games. Mad, isn't it?
It's a 13 wins, 7 losses. It's such a Gasperini, to me, that's the most Gasperini stat.
That's this season, but it goes back into last season as well. Yeah. Yeah,
because they won all of those games under Ranieri. They're the best team points-wise of the calendar year of 2025.
No, that's correct. Yeah, correct. Absolutely. Right. Como win as well. No, they don't win. They drew. What am I talking about? They nearly lost. Baturina scored a wonder goal in injury. Finally, Baturina, who was kind of built up to be like one of the signings of the summer, and it hasn't really got much of an opportunity, to be honest with you. He came on late in the game, scored an absolutely brilliant goal, a la Del Piero from the left, curled it top corner. Como, without their kind of quite a few attackers, they look blunt in this game, even against 10 men for most of the second half. They're really missing a number 9, but they keep up their good run, and they're right there as well. They do drop 2 points in the top 4 race, but yeah, this wasn't the best game. Bologna took the lead, and then they got Cambiaghi went from hero to villain, got himself sent off. There's been a bit of a debate whether he actually touched the player with that incident. I don't know if you saw that, but
yeah, I did. Yeah. But it's not
inconclusive.
No, but whether he touched it is irrelevant. He's pushing his elbow. You're not allowed to do that. It's a stupid thing. He lost his head. You can't, even if you swing and miss, you're not supposed to be swinging in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know what the law is on that. But if you try to elbow someone and you don't make any contact at all, should that still be a red card?
Because you're not allowed to deliberately harm another player on the pitch. Whether or not you hit them is secondary. It's not like WWE. It's not MMA. It's football. It's a contact sport. You're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry, but that's dumb. That's dumb. He lost his head. Absolutely lost his head. Can't do that.
Okay. Atalanta, who you said there, they beat Torino 2-0. They absolutely dominated them. They've now got 6 wins in their last 7 matches, 9 in their last 11. I have to say, Palladino, I wasn't sure what to expect from him. But he's doing great. Atalanta are playing great. He's got the attackers playing great. And he's got the Ketelaere playing great because he'd gone through a bit of a quiet spot in 2025. He's now got 7 goal contributions since Palladino took over, and he's been fantastic. He's one of the best players in the league since Palladino took over. So, yeah, it's looking, even with Lookman at the Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria doing well there. Atalanta are doing really, really well.
Kristovic missed a sitter, and the Ketelaere was outstanding. Zappacosta hit the woodwork. Zalewski missed a chance one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Now, Atalanta are looking good. I keep saying, watch out for Atalanta. I really hope they finish in the top 8 in the Champions League. That would be outstanding for the Serie A. And I really hope that they can get involved in this top 4 race, because the others, the firepower they have when Lookman comes back as well, and who knows if he'll be buoyed on by having won the AFCON, which is not impossible, which is just they're a joy to watch. Atalanta, I think they are just they look like peak Atalanta when they swarm teams, and they're nice to watch. They're
nice.
They are.
I've enjoyed watching them again. it's gone a bit.
Yeah, at this point, nobody wants to play them when they're in this form.
No,
Nobody
they've
wants
hit.
to play them.
Yeah, they've hit form at the right time, also to try and get in that top 8 for the Champions League. So that's great as well. So they've actually got a chance.
I hope they finish. I hope they get that. It would be brilliant for the Serie A. And if Inter can beat an Arsenal that have pretty much won the league stage of the Champions League, then you'll have 2 teams.
Also,
two
it would
Serie
also
A
make
teams.
Atalanta more dangerous for that top for getting in the top 4 because they'll play 2 less
100%.
games as well. Whereas Juventus
100%.
and Napoli, if they make it, will have to play the 2 extra games. Udinese 2, Pisa 2, another exciting game there, and then Lecce 1, Parma 2. Lecce really killed themselves in this game. They were 1-0 up, and then got 2 reds. One of them was an awful red from Banda. Did you see that? That was a terrible.
Well, both of them were awful. First of all, he flies in like an idiot. That's a straight red card. And then the other one kicks the player while he's lying down. He loses his head completely.
Yeah.
It was insane. But I have to say, for me, Udinese Pisa was what a game that was. Like beautiful goals. I can't pronounce his name properly, so I'm looking up how to pronounce it. But that goal that what's his name scored for me is the goal of the weekend. Cabasele. No, sorry, the Pisa. No, sorry. Tramoni, the Pisa player.
Oh,
That was a wonderful finish. And again, Pisa hit the woodwork. Again, they create chances, but they can't. The quality isn't there. I think this is the Gilardino redemption season. I think he needs to find a Serie A team that believes in him and gives him a proper chance. Speaking about that game against Zaniolo, wonderful corner for one of the goals. This was a very entertaining game. Also, Keenan Davis I think he hit the woodwork as well. No, it was a wonderful, entertaining game.
Yeah. And also my man Pellegrino, who's been linked to Juventus, scored the winner for Parma. He's ready next season to go to a bigger club. Whether not sure if Juventus, he's good enough for Juventus technically, but he's good enough to play at a high level for sure. Old-fashioned striker, like we don't get those kind of strikers anymore. That kind of bulldozing, big centre forward, physical. I like him. And then Lazio win 1-0 at Hellas Verona. So
and there was a referee. They didn't, there was a refereeing decision in their favor where the VAR. I think they basically. Hellas Zanetti looked absolutely shocked that was not given because it's a punch on the foot. Like that is a penalty. Usually when you punch the foot of a player, not anywhere near the ball. So, but I think given the shitstorm that has been around Lazio, I think they were like, yeah, if we give a penalty here, then Lotito will, I don't know, he'll probably suicide bomb the FIGC headquarters or something. And it's horrible that these things, we're laughing, but I hate that this kind of behavior is rewarded. But
that's what they do, isn't it? It's a psychological trick. The fixtures still to come on Monday: Genoa, Cagliari, and Juventus, Cremonese. Midweek fixtures come in as well for the rearranged games from the Supercoppa: Napoli, Parma, Inter, Lecce, Hellas Verona, Bologna, and Como Milan.
Coma. I love that coma. Well, they might put Milan Scudetto chances in a coma because I don't think that's going to be an easy game for Milan.
Yeah. They're playing in Australia.
That's a nice save. That's a nice save. I actually think that's a good save by me.
Yeah. Playing in Australia, right? Can I make that joke again? Yeah, they're playing in Australia.
Why not? You've been on a dad joke roll all morning, so you might as well just go the full 9 yards.
Yeah.
In these NFL Super Bowl times that we live in. Right. Enough puns.
Okay. Mercato. It's been a little bit up and down the last week. I feel like it's probably going to be as it usually is. I think it's going to be the last week of the window where everything is really going to explode. But five transfers that could happen this week. Giacomo Raspadori to Roma, or could he be going back to Napoli? Napoli have come in for him, and yeah, watch out for that one, because it looks like Raspadori might try and stall Roma. We'll see, but yeah, Raspadori to Roma or Napoli. Watch out for that one. Federico Chiesa back to Juventus. Juve have asked for a loan with an option. Liverpool are asking for a permanent deal. Chiesa has got over his Stockholm syndrome and is pushing hard to go to Juve. So we'll see. We'll see if that one happens. Eduardo Bove to Watford. He's terminating his Roma contract to play with a cardiac defibrillator, which is banned in Italy. Maxi Ibrahimovic, the son of Zlatan, Milan to Ajax with on a loan with buy option, and Pablo Mari, Fiorentina to Al Hilal for €2 million. So those five transfers.
That Maxi Ibrahimovic deal to Ajax. I mean, talk about walking in your dad's footsteps, eh? That's going to be
absolutely. Apparently, Zlatan negotiated that himself as well.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Oh dear.
Right. Baggio, Premface, and Serie ASS of the week. So Baggio, I think Eduardo Bove's story, I think is a nice story, isn't it, Nima?
It is. It really is. It's, it was horrible whenever you see these situations. It's not a nice thing to see, and it was pretty horrible. It's nice to see him playing football. I wish him all the best. I really like the player. In Italy, that's banned, so that means he can't play in Serie A. But I mean, if he can do it in the Premier League, God bless. All the best. But for me, Tramoni's goal that was stunning. Absolutely loved it for Pisa. He had a fantastic performance. He had a goal and an assist, and now that goal was just outstanding.
So. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Premface of the week. I'm going to go for one of the biggest Premfaces there is on planet Earth. And also
one of the most angry old man yelling at cloud that has ever existed is this man. That's why I follow him, just because I love to see what are the latest disturbances of the peace that Richard Keys is experiencing, because it's very, very entertaining. He is entertaining. I'm sorry, he is. He's batshit crazy, but he's entertaining.
I don't know if he's batshit crazy. I just think
he's batshit crazy. He's narcissistic as hell.
Oh,
he's always the victim.
He's just not. I think it comes down to this, right? Obviously, he's of a certain age where things that were acceptable in his generation are different here. And generally, I don't go after those kind of people because times were different. The way that we're reacting now, me and you, it'll be like in 30, 40 years' time. People saying to us,
look at that, and look at those boomers.
Carlo and Nima are bad people because look what they said back in 2026. Yeah. So I don't have so much of an issue with some of the stuff he said, even stuff that.
I'm more. I don't.
But for me, it comes down to: are you a nice person? And he's not a nice person. He's not a nice person.
He's
because when somebody dies, doesn't matter how you get on with that person. Just show a bit of respect for them, And so basically, what happened is, if you don't know, is Wales and Leeds legend Terry Yorath died a few days ago, and he was a midfielder, played for the great Leeds team of the 70s. Now he's the father of one of the top presenters, football presenters or sports presenters and journalists in the UK, Gabby Logan, right, or Gabby Yorath, before she got married. Now, when Terry Yorath died, Richard Keys, who has had a bit of he doesn't get on with Gabby Logan because
with anyone except for Andy
he doesn't
Gray.
Get on with anyone, yeah, but the two of them don't get on, right? And he tweeted this. Sad to hear the news of Terry Yora's passing. He was a warrior and won fans over wherever he played. He was great for us at Coventry. Richard Keys is a Coventry fan. And the reason I got Gabby a job at Sky. I had no idea who she was when we met, but I knew her dad. Rest in peace, Terry. Your daughter did you proud. So he uses the chance to offer his condolences by basically having a shot.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that is so insane. Like, it's such an insane eulogy. Like, it's okay to think it, but it's like, how can you put that out there? Like, it's insane. This is the narcissism. It's like everything is about him. Yeah. It's like, oh,
well, I don't think it was narcissism. Well, no, it's not narcissism. Well, he was taking a shot at Gabby. She's just lost her dad, and he was deliberately taking a shot at her because they don't get on. She wrote in her book basically that he was a dinosaur because you're going to laugh at this actually. So basically, Gabby Yoroff was pregnant on a plane on the way to cover, I think, the 2005 Champions League final. And she was heavily pregnant, like she was, probably just only a few months away from birth. And she was sitting on the plane, and behind her was Richard Keys and what's his name? The other one, Andy Gray, right?
Andy Gray,
his Premface and partner his partner in Premfacery. And so anyway, they start discussing about pregnant women, saying how they find them like disgusting and everything, and Richard Keys starts saying, "Oh yeah," when he goes when my Richard Keys said something like, "Oh yeah, when my wife was pregnant, I didn't even go close, I didn't even go near her for months." He was like, and then like,
oh my God!
So she wrote this in her book and basically called him a dinosaur. So I think that upset him, and then oh my God.
But this is it is narcissism because he made it about him. It's always about him. If someone's dad dies, then somehow Richard Keys is the victim because he did something good for. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is what makes him so batshit crazy and also unbelievably entertaining. Because in Richard Keys' world, everything is about Richard Keys. In his head, the entire world revolves around him. Like if it's snowing, it's because Richard Keys was there, and it's an inconvenience for him. Like this is what makes it so entertaining, and I'm laughing not because I agree with it. I think he's a lunatic, but it's very, very entertaining. You can't tell me that it's not entertaining. It's hilarious because he has no self-awareness, and people who don't have any self-awareness are funny. They just are because of how ridiculous they are, and he is a very ridiculous man. And
some of the things he said. I remember when the famous one where James they were on TV. It was him, Andy Gray, Jamie Redknapp, and they were talking about some girl that Jamie Redknapp used to go out with. And he got caught on like a hot mic and on video as well. And Richard Keys goes to Jamie Redknapp. He goes, "Oh, I bet you were hanging out of the back of it, weren't you?"
Oh my!
You must have seen that.
No, I haven't seen that. I've not seen that. Jesus. No, yeah. No, those two are surreal. Those two are genuinely surreal. They are entertaining. They really are. Right. Not for the right reasons.
No. Oh, and he's a massive Premface as well. Some of the stuff he comes with, everything centers around England as well. Like it's even though
because everything
even though he's presenting the show, even though he's presenting a show in the Middle East, it's like the subject is England. So it's always like, well, if you know what I mean, like everything centers around England,
it's because everything centers around what Richard Keys wants and thinks. Like again, it's Richard Keys' world, and we're all just polluting it. You know what I mean? Like this is the mentality.
Right. Match of the week. Do you have a Serie A?
I do have one, and it's not funny. This is stupid, and it pisses me off. So Corriere dello Sport reports that the FIGC, because of the match fix, like the fixture list complications, have denied Gennaro Gattuso to have a training camp in February ahead of the preparations of the playoff semi-final against Northern Ireland. He'll only have a few days to prepare ahead of the playoffs. I mean,
that decision was made by the FIGC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. You know, when we don't qualify for a third straight World Cup, and then you know,
they don't even, like, he wanted to have a training camp, and he wanted to, like, there was talk of maybe postponing games or moving them back or something, so he can have a few more days working. And now they've not allowed it for that to happen. And I mean, 2 World Cups missed. They're not taking this seriously. They just aren't. And I think at this point, when you have the coach that you have, don't you want to help him? We know his weaknesses. We know his struggles. So you should try to give him as much time as possible. And they've just flat out denied it.
In Italy, it's always, I mean, this is Italian culture, but in Italy and with the FIGC, it's always too difficult to find a solution. It's always, but there's this rule. But there's this rule. But we can't do this because of this. But there's too many fixes. Just find the solution. Find the solution. It's not hard. You know, if you go out of your way to try and organize a game in Australia, you can find time to find a little training camp. You know,
I don't have any words. I really do. 2 World Cups missed, and the Italian FA is doing their absolute best not to help the coach. And I just don't. You know, when people say, you know, when they do this to their clubs, when their clubs are in semi-finals of European tournaments, and everyone is like, why don't they help out? They don't even help out the national team. So why would they help out any club? Like another FAs moves games around, do all this to help their clubs and their national teams. Here it's just not.
No. Apparently, they're going to do a few Zoom sessions together.
Yeah. Well, no, they're not. Yeah, they're doing dinner meetings. Apparently, the famous Cena del Mercato, but they're doing it not about Mercato, but they're doing a Cena playoff.
So that famous tactical brain that is Gattuso is gonna talk tactics
in between the antipasti and the primi.
He's gonna use the salt shaker and the pepper to move the players around. You know, that's gonna get us to the World Cup, eh?
Yeah. In between the antipasti and the primo, they'll do the defensive side. Between the primo and the secondo, they'll do the attacking side, and then between the secondo and the dolce, they'll sort something out altogether on set pieces. Everything's sorted. Don't worry. Nothing to see here, folks. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I can't even get upset anymore. Like, this is where we are. I'm just, of course. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I am.
Yeah. And all the while, Gravina's still in his job.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong. What are you on about?
Yeah. I've said it already. Our only hope is Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has shown the last few weeks.
What, you want him to invade Italy?
No. Well, Donald Trump has shown in the last few weeks that rules don't matter. Like, he can literally do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. So there is
you want him to send in Delta Force to kidnap Gravina? Is that what you mean?
No. I think it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it's going to be good for America that Italy are in the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
Trump's a businessman. Trump is a businessman. So it's, you know, all the Italian Americans, New York, New Jersey, you know, all the Italian places.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump sent a helicopter and you know, to Northern Ireland and kidnapped the whole Northern Ireland squad, and then kidnapped the whole Wales squad, and nothing will happen about it. There'll be no punishment, because that's the way the world is now. You know, so that's that's probably our best hope. Our best hope is Donald Trump, you know, takes us to the World Cup.
Sending in a couple of Black Hawk helicopters and kidnapping people. Yeah, this our reality is a meme. Like it's just it's such a low budget show. Like it's not even a good Netflix show anymore. It's just like
this is how bad it's got for us for Italy, that we're actually like we're hoping for like Donald Trump
for kidnapping. Yeah, Trump to kidnap someone. Yeah, no, it's insane. It's just absolutely mental that they do this, and totally expected, totally on form. No one is surprised. So yeah, Italian Americans, use your contacts to get a message to the president to help Italy qualify for the World Cup.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right, let's leave on that note. Let's leave it. We'll be back later in the week for Q&A, and during that we will review the midweek matches as well, with the big three of Italy all playing.
Yeah, so make sure to send me your questions for patrons on DM by Tuesday night, so we have time to properly prepare and get it all out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.